Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. This is an old Zen proverb. I've spoken to quite a few people, and of course I've even seen quite a lot of people on the internet who think that enlightenment is some sort of fixed goal to get, and then like we're done. Right? But it's not that at all, really. The world of form, right, what we call life, is a continuous flow. It's going to keep dancing, right? And enlightenment doesn't end that. In fact, awakening connects you to it even more. Enlightenment is the direct consciousness of the nature of this existence. It's the direct awareness of what reality is, what this present experience is, what you are, the true nature of this that you are experiencing, and everything in this experience. Because this experience is the only one that's real, the only one that exists. Everything that exists in this moment. There's no other moment for it to exist in. So you're going to remain in your human condition until you die. Right? Enlightenment isn't like the escaping of the human condition. In fact, life is going to kick your ass. If you try and do awakening work to avoid your human aspects, your needs, your traumas, your shadow, oh man, you're in for it. The flow of life is going to clean you up. Watch my video, The World Will Bring Out Your Triggers. So enlightenment isn't an escape from your worldly problems, shadow, and certain forms of dysfunction. In fact, you can actually be enlightened and still have unhealthy relationships, money problems, and even abuse people, as many teachers actually have. Right? Because there's enlightenment, right? You realize what is true, what reality is, what your nature is. But then there's still the human condition of trauma and shadow and the whole messiness of our experience and the confusion and the grief, the guilt, the shame, sexual urges, right? Needs for sex and connection and food and all this stuff, right? So we got to bring awakening into the world of form. Right? This is possible. Right? Bring your realizations, manifest it into the world of form. This is what's going on. Right? Rather than using enlightenment to escape the world. Of course, any person on this path long enough has realized that. And it's actually an error to try and use spiritual insights or realizations to avoid personal problems. This is called spiritual bypassing. So shadow work still needs to be done after enlightenment, and personal growth still exists, even though there is no self to actually grow. It's a paradox. Right? And in fact, as you awaken, your ability to do shadow work and clean yourself up is going to increase because there's more fluidity in your being. Your being, your body, your mind, emotions, you as a whole, is more fluid. It's more open to the present. You're less repressed. You can actually express yourself more authentically. Right? Enlightenment doesn't mean like a repression or a complete denial of yourself. In fact, true awakening really there's a deeper embodiment in the self. Your personality can really shine. It's the exact opposite. Your expression gets even more true and authentic. And there really is no deep authenticity without awakening. Because authenticity is a truthful expression of who you are. And who you really are isn't the personality or the ego. So you have to realize who and what you really are so that you can really express yourself in the most authentic way. Right? So spiritual bypassing is, of course, an error when you use spirituality to avoid your human problems, avoid the confusion of relationships, avoid your grief, your shame, your guilt, your pain, your problems. Right? This isn't what, this isn't like enlightenment doesn't solve any of that or take any of it away. The world still goes on. You've just realized what its nature is. You've realized what's true about it. Right? And that's it. And the truth is liberating. The truth kicks ass. That's my relative judgment. right? So if you're getting into this kind of work because you think that enlightenment is going to solve all the problems in your life, right, it's really not. Right? There's a paradox between personal growth and dissolving the ego. Right? And you can still build some worldly skill and solve your problems, have effective, healthy relationships, and get your needs met in functional ways, right? And in fact, doing that is actually going to help your ability to awaken. I promise. Right? Grounding yourself in the world of form and in who you actually are, and not avoiding it, is going to actually, this is where like the rubber meets the road, man. This is like where the awakening is really put to the test. This is where your level of integration is put to the test. Right? I don't claim to be like a master of any of this. I got another 4 decades, not even 4 decades, I got my whole lifetime for this kind of work. Like, I've dedicated my entire life to this. Right? It's just that watch your own reasons for getting into this work. If it's to just get rid of pain, right? I understand. Right? I got into this work. Of course, a massive reason was to alleviate suffering. Right? And that's okay. Right? It's just that really, you alleviating your suffering is going to have to involve you looking at some brutal things that you would probably want to avoid. And if you cover all that stuff up with enlightenment and love and awakening and all this like airy-fairy sounding stuff, right? This is an error. You don't want to use this stuff to avoid the pain and like the hellish aspects of human existence, the selfishness, the brutality, the forcefulness, the closed-mindedness, the rigidities, the pain, the repression, the all the stuff that, we don't like. You don't want to use spiritual language like love and oneness to avoid it. It's not going to work. In fact, true love, true oneness embraces all of this. It's not selective with what it embraces. Right? True unconditional love embraces all that is. How you manifest in the world doesn't mean, you can tolerate anything. In fact, the more loving you become as a human, right, you're actually going to love yourself quite a lot. You will have even stronger boundaries. People think that, I've received one comment before, that enlightened beings can be easily manipulated because they just, accept anything, but that's not really true. In fact, when you're really awakened, it's very hard to manipulate you because you see right through this game of pure bullshit. You have even stronger boundaries. You're even more aware of manipulation. You're even more sensitive to it. It's even harder, way harder. It's people who are unconscious that are easily manipulated. Right? So as you really embody love more, you love yourself as well, because you can't properly embody love in the world selflessly without, of course, also being selfish. Taking care of your own needs, having boundaries, making sure that your own well-being is actually taken care of. And once all that is sorted out, yes, you can begin going past it and being more selfless, self-actualization and self-transcendence, right? The higher aspects of human nature. So don't use these ideas to avoid the parts of you that you don't like. Don't use these ideas to reinforce defensive mechanisms that you built up from childhood. Use these ideas to address those head on. Use these ideas to motivate you to integrate these parts of you rather than repressing and avoiding them and judging them. Use these ideas to come deeper into connection to yourself. Right? There's not going to be a really deep, fully integrated awakening without what I'm saying in this video. Without the integration of psychotherapy and shadow work and really personal growth, getting your needs met, things like this. Right. So that's it for this video. You can apply to work with me one-to-one. Link is in the pinned comment and the description. Take it easy.